Go often to the house of thy friend, for weeds choke the unused path. One of my favorite quotes from Ralph Waldo Emerson. And with that, we get to another daily app over here where I talk for 10 minutes without interruption, without editing, without anything, and just talk about whatever the frick I basically sort of can think about. The reason why this quote more or less stuck out to me is because the previous weekend, we had a birthday party, and basically they were like a bunch of friends from all over that came, and we just had a good old time together. And I was just thinking about that, and the thing about it is that I think sometimes, and you'll probably agree with me on this, sometimes it's very strange because we are so connected with our devices, and yet real connection is not always there. Now, obviously, so for my part, let's say technology is great in that, for example, a couple of friends have moved away, or I also just have a couple of friends that are just further away, like in general, right? They're just like hundreds of kilometers, like that they live away. So it's obviously going to be quite hard to see them regularly in real life. And then technology obviously is absolutely amazing, right? Because then you can go to Discord, you can chill there as well. During the when COVID happened in the very beginning, we had our I celebrated my birthdays on Discord as well with all of them, just like on there in a call. That was also pretty neat. Like that stuff like that. That's just really cool and really nice. However, in reality, like when you meet them in real life, obviously that's usually, I would say almost always just better and just nicer, because there's like a lot of different things we sort of take for granted. And I don't know, it was really nice to see a bunch of friends that I haven't seen for a long time. And you just sort of realize that it's just, stuff just keeps moving, even if you're sort of not there. But one thing that I actually wanted to talk about in the idea of the basically the quote, right? Go often to the house of thy friend, for weeds choke the unused path. First of all, once again, I just love the phrasing of it, but also it's just a nice idea. And the one of the things that I sometimes feel like is, I don't know, especially for someone who's introverted, I would describe myself as mostly introverted most of the time. The one thing that sometimes is, I wouldn't, maybe struggle is a hard word, but let's call it struggle. We are just like catching up with someone and just sending out a text. And I don't think it's gonna be, it's like that bad. I think most people don't require like constant texting to be on a level. Personally, I don't mind. Like, even if I haven't texted with one of my friends for like half a year, I can still catch up after that. Like, I don't feel slighted, let's say, if something like that were to happen. And usually I would say if you feel a certain way, most of the time, the other person might also feel that way. Otherwise, you can also, going back to an earlier discussion that we had, you can also just ask and just be like, yo, like, I know I'm not texting a lot. Sometimes I just forget about it. Is that cool with you? Like, literally just that. Now, once again, they might find it weird, but okay. Okay. I mean, it doesn't, it doesn't matter that much when you really think about it. It's sort of like one of those things you just ask and then there you go. But it was pretty nice, and that was a pretty freaking nice thing. Lots of cool moments to be had. And of course, also going back to a previous yap that we've had, we took a lot of pictures. We had like over 800 pictures taken with a camera. And I will tell you this, I will be printing out a lot of them. Obviously, I will also just, put them online for everyone to see, but then I'll also print them out and we will make a photo wall. I'll do that. Okay, I will make a photo wall. I'll have to see how many of those I have to print out because obviously if I want to take the pictures with each person, because we also took like some pictures with each person with me, and then also with family and friends together. It's gonna be a lot, but it's fine. I mean, rather have a few too many pictures than not enough. So that is also kind of a neat thing. And yeah, I don't know. That's was an interesting thing to think about. I have another another thing to think and yap about as well, though, and that is a little bit of a different topic. That would be, do you want to be somewhere or do you want to go somewhere? That is a really interesting distinction to have to draw, because when you want to be somewhere, then you're focused on the outcome. When you want to go somewhere, you're focused on the journey. Now, we've talked previously, I think multiple times now, about the journey, the destination, and how you should look at the destination, because that's like literally all there is. Whereas when you are on the destination itself, that's when you have like one day of celebrating and then you're done, right? You graduate university, you're done for, you've done this for 4 years, you celebrate for 2 days, and then that's it, right? And then you're like barista at Starbucks is the usual thing that people joke about. And the quote for that, I think I've said this before, but when one eye is fixed upon your destination, there's only one eye left with which to find the way, right? So if you, I think I don't know which, where I heard this from. I think it's an audiobook, but I'm not sure. It might have also been a podcast somewhere. The thing goes as this. The student goes to the teacher and they say, listen, teacher, I know you have studied long and hard to become a master in the spiritual realm. How long is it going to take me? And the master says, it's going to take you 5 years to become a master. And the student nods and says, okay, if I work really hard at it and I keep my focus and I'm determined to get that master as fast as possible, right? How long is it going to take me then? And the master strokes his long beard, thinks for a second and says, if you do this that you've told me, then it will take you 10 years. Meaning, when one eye is fixed upon your destination, there is only one eye left with which to find the way. The thing that you are doing every day, and the things that you are, like any activity that you're basically doing, is the thing to focus on. Now, obviously, those should serve a goal, and you should know roughly which way you're going. So that doesn't mean that a goal or a plan is useless. Absolutely not. A plan is actually very, very good. There is also a quote. Oh man, that is. I'm gonna have to think about this. The quote is about a plan. Planning saves time. Planning saves time. Yes, but like there's a quote that like there it is. Brian Tracy again. This guy. Every minute you spend in planning saves 10 minutes in execution. That gives you 1,000% return on energy. Don't fall into the trap though to just plan forever, because that is then going to save you an unlimited amount of time in execution, because you have zero execution. So don't just use that to plan. But yes, planning important as well. Goal setting important. But you have to know what you want to do, and then just do that thing. And you also have to enjoy that particular thing. Which port to sail? There's another quote, and that is by Seneca. If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. I really like that, because you can interpret that in two different ways. Because you can say no wind is favorable, as in it doesn't matter if the wind blows from the west to the east to the west, or the south to the north. Or you could say that the man who doesn't know to which port he sails, that no wind, not no particular wind, but like no wind at all is favorable. So he's going to stay in port. And with that quote, we can do another one, right? Which is another quote. I believe that is by Albert Einstein. Apparently not. I thought it was by Albert Einstein, but whatever the case may be, a ship in port is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. Think about what you are built for, and think about if that would be a thing. But yeah, that is one of the ideas. Yeah, and that also brings us towards the end of this yap. I think I added the intro, because I do think that sometimes people who are literally just like tuning in, they don't even know what the format is. Yeah, it's 10 minutes, and once the time has ended, it will just cut off even if I'm mid-sentence. But hope you enjoyed this and talk to you next time.